Uber offered me a trip that after you do all the calculations, if you were to annualize the wage, it was like $166,000 a year. But immediately after I accepted the trip, I regretted it. Hi, my name is Levi Spires. This is the Tip You in the App Daily Drive podcast. Now, you might be like, Levi, why would you regret taking such a great trip? And I'll walk you through it. But first, let me kind of set up the situation. It was 4 a.m. and I went ahead and just turned the Uber app on. As soon as I turned the Uber app on, I got this offer. It was an Uber comfort trip to the airport. It was only 20 minutes. It was only like 10 miles. Really, really good. But there was one thing that caught my eye that made me think about it for a second. That was a reserve trip. Now, what does a reserve trip really mean? All an Uber reserve trip means is that someone scheduled a trip way in advance. It could have been hours, days, weeks, who knows. But a passenger reserved this ride, and for whatever reason, an Uber driver might have taken it, but then at that moment in time at 4 a.m., there was no Uber driver to take this person. So Uber was going to pay me a lot of money to accept this trip. I posted this trip on a Facebook group for Uber drivers. And I was like, hey, what do you think? Would you have taken this trip? And let me read off some of these answers to you. William says, absolutely. Steven is like, in a heartbeat. Gordon was like, the question is, why wouldn't anyone accept this trip? And Robert, yeah, I would take it by looking at the miles because a lot of drivers use miles as their calculation. Hector's like in Tampa, he said he would take it. Tony did the math. He's like, that's like $80 an hour. And I know it looks really good. Pat was like, hell yeah, that sounds like an amazing trip. Bob says that is a unicorn for sure. So on the face of it, it looks like a really, really good trip. But again, that reserve, that's the key thing here. A couple of drivers saw that also. And here's what they said. Wayne says almost for sure, but they will occasionally burn you, they being Uber, by sending you way early. Cameron was like, I don't do any reservations because no matter what, I always get the full amount from each job. This job could tie you up for 30 or 40 minutes. That's the secret. I think Cameron's right. Tabitha was like, nope, those reservations get sent out as exclusive requests that are a PETA. I don't know what that means. Uber sends me those things and I get sent out 40 minutes early every single time. And then I have to take a hit on my cancellation rate. And that's important because with reserve rides, you can only cancel 3 times within a certain window, and then you don't get offered reserve trips anymore. So good observation on Tabitha's. And Bill is a guy that makes a lot of really neat comments on this Facebook group. He says, I would think twice. I mean, it's an attractive ride, but if it were purely an on-demand ride, but it's not. And that's the secret. Bill's exactly right. It's a reservation that some driver probably just canceled, so it goes out as an exclusive offer. But sometimes when you get a reservation ride as an exclusive offer, they send you there a full half hour early, which pretty much wipes out any of the benefit of having a really good paying ride. Bill and everybody else, it was worse. I accepted this trip, and like I said, I immediately regretted it. And the reason why is that the pickup, granted, I accepted it at 4 a.m. The pickup wasn't until 4:45 in the morning. It's only like a 10-minute ride to get to that pickup spot. So Uber was expecting me to park and wait for 35 minutes at this place. For 35 minutes, just sit there and wait. Now, even if I were to take that trip and accept it at that rate, it's still not horrible money. I mean, it would have been, basically a $30 an hour trip. So it's not horrible, but we got to put in all the context. Let's do the context here. It's 4 a.m. and in Ithaca at this time, it surges and you get a lot of airport rides from about 4 to about 5:30, maybe 6 o'clock. And then it shuts down. For like an hour, there's almost no rides. So you got to get your money while you can. Then at 7 o'clock, it kind of picks up to a normal day. So I needed to make as much money as possible in that hour or hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And so to tie me down, yeah, on any given day at any given point in time, yeah, $28, yeah, for an hour, whatever. It wouldn't have been good, but I wouldn't have been horribly upset. But that's the trick. And that's what I mean by Uber is tricking drivers. When that trip comes in, nowhere on there does it say when the pickup is. It could be an hour. It could be 5 minutes. It could be anything. And Uber's just locking you in with a number that looks really good. And they're tricking drivers. And that's the thing that's really, really frustrating. So yeah, I had already accepted it, and I didn't want to take a hit on my cancellation rate. I didn't want to lose access to my reserve ride privileges. So I was frustrated. And remember, it's 4 a.m. So, but this is where it gets really, really interesting, because what turned out bad became really, really good really quickly. Now, normally when I do a reservation, I tend to book in my day with reservations, either the first thing in the morning or at the end of the shift, and I use them to kind of pre-position or get myself to a location that I want to go. I like longer reservations because they kind of get me back to my house or something like that. And so maybe if I had like a 30-minute wait, I will charge my car. I will go get it washed. I'll go get a cup of coffee. I'll do something. But it's 4 a.m. My car is fully charged. I just started the day. What was I going to do? And that's when I got lucky. I don't know why I thought about it, but I was like, let me just turn on Lyft. So I turn on Lyft, and boy, Chris was right. Chris's comment was exactly right. Just Lyft while you wait. I could have door dashed. I could have did something else, but I had 30 minutes to do a couple of quick rides. And I got a great ride. Almost exact same from basically the Cornell College campus to the Ithaca airport. And this one was paying me $43 for roughly the same amount of time. And I took that ride. I got a $5 tip, so $48. And I was able to go back to the pickup spot for the Uber reservation and wait. I got there about 10 minutes early. Instead of waiting for 35 minutes, I got there 10 minutes early. And the passenger came out early. And so instead of waiting for that whole time, I ended up waiting only 2 minutes. And I did really, really well. So now the Uber passenger from the frat didn't tip me. The $28 one didn't tip, but it doesn't matter. Okay. So what ended up being like, oh, wow, a great ride, to immediate frustration to, you know what? I got options. And then from there, going on, getting that Lyft, getting the Uber reservation done, and making a little over $80, give or take, in that hour. Actually, I made a little bit more because I did one more ride. I have some thoughts. I have some lessons from this whole experience. Okay. Lesson number 1. We as drivers have to remember that we are independent contractors. I don't work for Uber. I don't work for Lyft. I work for myself. So I have to pick and choose the rides that are best for me and my family. And, sometimes, because of the way the apps work, they're just like any other algorithm. They're just like TikTok or any other type of thing. They kind of like, they gamify it, and you kind of get suckered into it a little bit. It's at 4 a.m. I'm awake. I'm not driving, not safe or whatever, but I'm not fully cognitive. Like I've got my super thinking cap on. I'm trying to do all this math in my head. I'm just trying to kind of get the day going. And I think Uber takes advantage of that. They're like, hey, Levi turns his app on, and they try to trick you. And it's just super frustrating, because all Uber had to do was tell me it's a 45-minute wait. And I would have still maybe taken it, but I would have thought about it. They could have slowed the acceptance rate thing down, but they send it to you with the noise and the flashing. It's 4 a.m. and they just try to gamify everything, and they try to trick us. And that's really frustrating. So lesson number 1 is always understand that their algorithm is always in the game, and you better be, as a driver, in the game. 4 a.m., no excuses. Once you suit up and you turn those apps on, you got to be doing it. The second thing that I learned, drivers around the US all look at things differently. And I've known this for a long time, but I just want to reiterate and restate and kind of express this. Some drivers looked at that trip and we're like, that's a great ride. They did some sort of calculation, whether by time or miles or both or whatever it is. They looked at it by being a comfort ride to the airport. Some drivers like me, you look at that passenger rating at 4.88 and you're like, I don't know, that could be something wrong with that person. But we all look at things differently because we're all unique. And it's hard for each one of us to look at a certain individual experience and go, that's good, that's bad. In our own world, it could be good or it could be bad, but we don't have the other experiences of the other drivers. We don't drive in their city. We don't drive their cars. We don't drive at the times they drive. We don't have the same income requirements, whatever it is. We are all unique. So it's logical for some drivers to look at that trip and go, that is a unicorn. I would never get that in Tampa or wherever else you drive, in Los Angeles or whatever. Take that trip. And then some drivers, like the other ones, were like, there's a reservation there. And they might be thinking about it a little bit different. For me, it wasn't really whether that was a reservation that had to wait. The big concern is that I only had that short little window, that basically 4 a.m. to 5:30, 6 o'clock, to make as much money as possible before it literally slows down to almost no rides for like an hour. And that kind of leads me to my next point, which is like, hey, we can't look at individual experiences, good trips, bad trips, whatever it might be, to make our judgment on whether we like this gig or not. Because there's going to be good times and bad times. There's going to be good rides, bad rides. There's going to be good passengers, bad passengers, whatever. And we have to kind of like level things out. One of the things that if you were to go on to Reddit or Facebook or X or any other platform, you see a lot of drivers posting really good trips or really bad trips. They're like, look at this unicorn. It was amazing. I got paid, like in this scenario, I made $100, give or take, in about an hour. And it was like, yes, boom. And I'm like, that's a high. And then there's like the low of like, oh, look at this trip. Uber wants to pay me $3 for an hour's worth of work. And you get really frustrated. And I think, yes, when you immediately look at those, that's my gut reaction too. Yes, no. And there's a lot more no's than yeses to some extent. And that's what makes it feel like a casino. It's like playing the slot machines. Now, I've done it a few times in my life and I kind of get it. You put a couple of bucks in there and you're hitting the button and you're going loss, 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 big win. And then you get a little bit of money, then you put your quarters back in, loss, 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 big win. And so there's like 5 losses for every 1 win. And we have to stay more stoic. We have to measure things on bigger scales. Measure things not by ride. It doesn't mean you should accept every ride or decline. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you can't get emotionally attached to one event or even one day, maybe even a week. Kind of smooth things out. How much do you make in a year? Now, it could be good. It could be bad. I'm not saying these are good numbers, bad numbers. I'm saying a real statistical analysis doesn't get influenced by outlier events, a great ride or a bad ride, high pay, low pay, whatever. We want to look at what we call, it's called the law of large numbers, or even better, that you've probably heard of as, what does he say? You just want to get a lot of data together and then look at things across the board. How much did I make per hour for this entire year, or whatever the data you want to look at? That'll give you more rational way of saying, is this good or bad? Is this worth it? Because I know sometimes I feel like, wow, that was so much fun. I made a lot of money and I get really excited. And then the next day it was like, it was horrible. And I'm an emotional person personally. I don't think about things very stoically or very simply, or, and that's hard for me. And I don't know how it is for you. But like I say, I think Uber uses those emotions against us. And so it's important, especially for people like me, to not get super excited about good things and not get really upset by bad things. Just look at things, put it all together. The law of averages, I think, is the non-statistical way to say it. The law of averages. Overall, am I winning or losing? Is Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, whatever, a good fit for me? That's the better way to look at it. And I guess my final lesson, which is kind of like a summary of everything we just talked about. It's really frustrating, but Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, they're just a game. And I can't really speak to Lyft and Uber or DoorDash as much or any other of the platforms as much. I almost exclusively do Uber, but it's really frustrating. Let's go back to that ride again. It's 4 a.m. The Uber app says, look, $28, 20 minutes, 10-mile ride to the airport. Levi, take this ride. Bling, bling, it comes in and it's just a game. They're hiding one piece of critical information. When is the pickup? That's right. They intentionally hide that information for no reason. For no reason. They should just tell us the passenger is expecting you at 4:45 in the morning, whatever. And so it's just a game. And I think if it is just a game, for me, I have to enjoy it because it's low pay. Because ultimately, this job, if you're doing it really, really, really well, you're going to make, $80,000, $70,000 a year. If you're in a bad city with a bad car and driving at bad times or whatever, you're going to make $30,000 a year. And this is after expenses. So like, I think like the Uber Black drivers in Chicago or New York City or whatever, they're making a lot of money. Let's say $80,000, $90,000 a year after expenses. And I don't know, but whatever, because I don't drive there. But there are drivers in rural Alabama. I'm making that up. I don't know anything about Alabama, but I pick it out. And they're driving an Uber X and they'll be happy with $20 an hour before expenses, maybe. So everything's a little bit different. It's just a big game. And I have to remember that. So this is almost a message to myself and maybe to you as another driver. If you're going to play the game, enjoy the game, because there's better ways in your life to make money. And that's for me. So I do things like I accept it that it's a game and I try to win the game and don't get frustrated by it. Even though I do, but don't get frustrated by it. Just play the game. And it's you against Uber. And it shouldn't be that way. It doesn't have to be that way, but Uber and Lyft have decided that's the game to play. It's us versus them. It's a human driving a car in traffic with a inebriated passenger behind us in bad weather, while Uber is an algorithm, a computer trying to trick you. And that's what it is. That's what it is. I don't know. Would you have taken this ride? Yes, no, pros and cons. How lucky was I to get that Lyft ride? It was pretty awesome. Let me know your thoughts. Hey, again, my name is Levi Spires. I want to shout out to some of the sponsors of the channel, Red Tiger and Lay's Fit Mats. Really thankful for those of you who join the membership of this channel, Thrive. I try to make some exclusive content for you. If you don't want to pay the $3 a month, I get you, no worries. Join the Facebook group. We have a Tip You in the App Facebook group where we talk about things like this. It's drivers only. And here's your warning. No spam. You'll just get kicked out of the group. So the minute you post a spam, you're blocked and you're banned. So, but I would love to have you out there in that group. I'm cheering for you. I really want you to be safe. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want you to make as much money as you possibly can. But I want you to enjoy the ride. And I want you to know that I am cheering for you. Be well. Bye.